when I'm doing the research, people will say, "Well, Dan, just stay in the spiritual. Don't talk about the other. Don't talk about the legal." And I said, "Well, is that really prudent in a time that people are involved in the legal?" I'm sure that when Jesus Christ was on the earth in his 3.5 year ministry, he was surrounded by the legal. He was surrounded by the Pharisees, who were part of a Babylonian Talmudic uh, civil system of legal that had nothing to do with the Torah or the first 5 books of the Bible. They were talking about legal. And they were running something that was secondary, nothing to do with the primary understanding of the Torah that they were raised up as the nation of Israel. So when they became part of the Babylonian bondage to their enemies, of those that were not of the covenant of God, they came under what eventually led to, we see today as the civil. And now it's it's what we call it Catholic, because it's universal general. That's what it means, universal and general. So the civil law is for the commoners, which is general, those that are in sin or debt. It is an existence in something that's contrary to God sending his son to take everybody back into their original position with God before Adam sinned. And so when we're going to deal with certain legal terms, I'm trying to explain them so you understand the mind of the system that surrounds you, because you're not in spirituality. You haven't reached spiritual citizenship with God. You're still in a perversion and conversion of that concept in something that has been man-made with these man-made Christian churches. You've never really been baptized. They'll actually even issue you a baptismal certificate with a surname on it, which is totally ridiculous. The only thing that is yours that you give to God would be your God-given name, which represents your spirit of who you really are, and then you're giving it to him and saying, "I serve you." And then therefore you're serving your creator. Don't like the term slave? Tough luck on you if you don't like it. That's what it is. You're either owned by the state, the legal state of man, or you're owned by God. You got two choices. What's very interesting is you're set at liberty and freedom from the legal world. So you're free from them, from those legal guys trying to jab and kill you right now, who are part of something that's based on suicide, damnation, and destruction. That's why it's down that direction right now. That's why all the words we've discussed in the past, the word custom leads to the word costume, which says see suicide, because it deals with man away from God in trespass and sin and debt. So the side that does not accept God, accept spirituality, accept his king, his son, his anointed one, they're not in any salvation. So you can be owned by them. You're voluntarily in there. That's fine. You can run your lives, run what you believe what you want to believe. I certainly can't stop you, and do not let me stand in the way of your success down that realm. That's your choice. But those that are of God see the salvation, are humbled, modest, and ready to accept a pardon that they could never purchase. They're under the highest sovereignty and the supremacy of God in truth. Truth does not work in fiction, so you're never going to be part of it anymore. You're going to be exempt. You can't be part of it. But you can't have your cake and eat it too and still be involved in what you had in profit, wealth, and gain. So all those people storing up treasures on earth with monetary wealth of whatever it may be, there's even Christian groups telling people to store up gold and silver and all those things. That's nothing to do with scriptural. counsel. Nothing ever told you in the Bible to do that. But anyways, we're going to go to the word estoppel. Very interesting word used in legal. And they define estoppel as a man's own act or acceptance stops or closes his mouth to allege or plead the truth. We're going to read it again. It's very important. I'm going to put my glasses on again, as I've done before, because I want to make sure I'm reading it properly too. Estoppel is a man's own act or acceptance stops or closes his mouth to allege or plead the truth. So it gets in the way. It's called an estoppel. An estoppel arises when one is concluded and forbidden by law to speak against his own act or deed. Estoppel is or may be based on acceptance of benefit. So, if I'm in the world of legal, I'm estopped from claiming truth or spirituality. It prevents me. It's an estoppel. So I wrote notes on this at the time when I was breaking this down, because we're going to go right into legal estoppel. It says, you cannot plead or speak truth when you act on fiction or take benefits from the legal fiction title of public fraud or the surname assigned upon you at time of birth. So we go to legal estoppel. Legal estoppel is estoppel by deed or record as distinguished from estoppel by matter in pays. It excludes evidence of truth and the equity of the particular case to support a strict rule of law on grounds of public policy. So, what they're really saying here is, if I've gone down the direction to surety that I'm going to take all duty, debt, and obligation for the legal title, then what is happening? I am basically taking on the duty, debt, and obligation to be the surety for debt and sin. So, if I've gone down this direction, if I'm going down this direction, what I'm doing is I cannot expect the law to protect me. And therefore, this record, before I went down the direction of suretying the duty, debt, and obligation, this record, in essence, looks like it's working contrary to me. But in essence, this document cannot be used for truth. It cannot be used for the truth that is basically occurring on this document, because where truth is, fiction of law does not exist. So when we look at things directly on this, your given name is truth, the surname is fiction, but the law states where truth is, fiction of law does not exist. Where fiction of law is, truth does not exist. On here, the biggest problem is this is a permanent legal document. So truth does not exist on it. They cross the line on the privacy of you only because your parents were entering and participating in sin and debt. So therefore, they entered you into the debt like Adam did. He entered you into sin and debt because of his actions as the original father of sin, along with Satan, who he followed, the father of the lie. So we have to look at what is going on here, but under legal estoppel, we'll go over it again. Legal estoppel by deed, this is a deed, or record, this is a record, as distinguished from estoppel by matter in pays. That is something that's not based on a record. Pays is based on your actions. It's not based on what is written record. But Legal estoppel excludes evidence of truth. Interestingly, it can't have truth on there. So therefore, when they look at this document in reality, it would never have your given name on there. But when you have legally participated with a driver's license, a health plan card, a passport, where you said you're the bearer with the burden who's going to surety that name, well, then it is not excluded because you've actually taken it on. And therefore, they'll proceed on what appears to be the face of this instrument. It's not that complicated. You can't go down two elective paths at the same time. You can't go down a spiritual path and down a legal path and expect one or the other to come to your salvation. It won't. When you've accepted legal or legalism and money and wealth, you've sold out yourself to spirituality. Your spirituality is gone. It is now absorbed into a legal direction, and therefore you no longer have salvation with God. You chose the wrong path. The test of Job, you failed. So we hope that this part of the video series is going to bring enlightenment to you, is going to bring clarity, because it's very, very important to research these videos and the information that we've researched, the form of law that is around you. Take it very, very serious, because your life is pending on it, because this is what people are doing right now. And it's amazing how many people are complaining about the direction that they're energizing. And at the same time, they say, I don't want that legal state to tell me what I can do. But they're energizing the legal state. And therefore, they're feeling now, oh, we're going to now claim some special exemption so we don't have to comply with various legal things. You don't make the rules in the legal. You've put yourself into the realm of the devil. And once you've done that, God will not hear you.